Mic check. Mic check. We are on. We are live. All right. How's it going, everyone? Tonight, my name is Joseph. We are doing a test-ish stream. Been having some technical issues lately. I don't need an echo of my. I don't need an additional echo of myself. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna do a test-ish stream. I'm gonna do it playing some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I might have to adjust the bitrate a few times here and there because I want to try to find a good solid bitrate that's gonna give it, it's gonna give a decent one that's gonna give a decent output while at the same time hopefully be stable. I prefer it to be stable. That's just me. I don't know about you. I'm sure you guys are like, I don't really care to watch an unstable ass stream. I don't know why you would, right? So, we're gonna go online here, and we're going to try things. Regional. Regional. Don't want to go worldwide. Want to go regional. Want to try to keep. Again, this is a test stream, so I want to try to keep things as unable to connect to the other consoles. Please try again later. Okay. Okay. Weird because it's like just a couple of months ago. I'm not gonna say I was having like the most perfect, most amazing, most spectacular streams ever, but they were at least somewhat stable. I made a few changes, including moving my router to a different spot. I've got most everything on a wired connection. OBS was suggesting that I try streaming at 6,000. I'm not going to, like, I don't know, maybe I could pull that off, but I don't know if that's the greatest idea in the world, because again, it's like, okay, cool, that's the max, but is it gonna be stable? Also, if you I guess technically, if you set your bitrate too low, that could also be another problem. Why is this upside down? Is what I want to know. Okay, there we go. It's back to being right side up. Okay, Andrew Jose $sign Doja Bat. Harry. HP. I always win. Well, You're in second right now, buddy. So you might want to step up on that if you always win. I'm just saying. Third. Okay. All right, Jason. Yeah, we're just spectating at the moment, waiting to jump in on this next one here. I guess it goes with the theme of the night again, and just really just testing the stuff out to make sure that it can work. And I've already had to make a couple adjustments because it was dropping frames again. When I did a bitrate test earlier, all that worked fine, but it's easy to not drop frames when you're not sending frames, right? All right. There you go. Waluigi pinball. I mean, you could. Wow. Mario Kart with randoms. I'm not against the idea of just like setting up a custom tournament and playing with like, you know, anybody out there. I'm not against that idea. And as opposed to just playing with randoms right now. Like I said, the whole point was just to make sure. Okay, we'll take that. I mean, I don't really care which course. Tokyo Blur. For sure. Ah! Wah! Damn, boo. Ah! 11th. Obviously not the best start. It's not really the point, though. The point is to make sure that the Vancouver Velocity. I've been to Vancouver, so Been many years since I've been to Vancouver, but been many. Yeah, let's not talk about how many years that's been. Let's leave that alone. Let's leave that alone. I am not an old ass man. Yes, the fuck I am. Well, by the way, I said I suck at streaming, which I do, and drink cola. Well, I need to open up said cola to drink cola. It's not. I don't have Cola Coca. I have Zero Pepsi. Oh, all right. Toad Circuit for 3DS. I never had a 3DS. In fact, I think I've probably only played a 3DS once or twice. It's just about a bitch. Ring, ring. There we go. Back to 11. Never claimed to be good at this game, but damn, I didn't think I was this bad. That didn't help. Yo! Jumped all the way back up to third, bro. To be fair, I don't really play this a lot, and quite honestly, I haven't played a lot of Nintendo Switch lately. One game on, well, a set of games, I should say, that I have on here, I would like to start playing on stream. If we can keep a half-ass decent, half-ass stable stream. Excuse me, wow, I apologize. Got him. Oh, ah! Oh, hell. All the way back down to 7th. 7th place is going to have to be. Brochacho. I just happened to see that. Alright. Looks like it's either going to be Sydney or Water World. There is an outside chance of London. I was gonna say, I kind of now I kind of hope it is because, and it is. When you're that one person who selected it, that one person who chose it, and you happen to get the one that we're going with. Oh, oops. Oh yeah. Oh. Too soon. Too soon, Junior. We're just gonna hang back now, because we're just gonna hang back now, because just kind of resigned to my fate at this point. I came in 12th. Bro. Ah, slipped in right there. What? We're not last. We're not last. Might as well be. I slipped in right there at the very end. Be like, ha! That one guy. Everyone to suggest a course. Suggest a course. Course suggestions. Let us go. Let go us. Ooh. Is what happens when you drink cola. Yippee! out of everybody here, I am dead last. That guy got pissed and dropped off. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh. Yeah, we. All right, Christine. All right, Christine. I don't know that that did us any favors whatsoever. That did, though. Damn it! Ah! Damn, Fellow Knight. JHK jumped me right at the damn end. It's Joseph 2.0! it's Joseph it's Joseph 32.0. What's going on, Jimmy? Yeah, man, like I said, I'm just trying to, I've even got this labeled as a test stream because I'm just trying to get the damn thing working. No, I don't want to leave the group. Yes, I want Sherbetland. Go easy. I don't go easy on anyone because I suck. So what's the point? Like, I don't suck. I play games poorly. That's the brand. That is the brand. Oldhead Gamer plays games poorly. And yes, this includes the Mario Kart. This includes a Mario Kart. Oh. All right, big ball thing. What was it called? Oh, well, Luigi Pinball. Wah! Wah! I should have chose this one myself. Why did I not choose this one myself? Wah! Oh yeah. So I guess I missed a movie night. Well, I missed a Raytopia movie night because I was in another movie night. But how often do you guys do movie nights every weekend, or how often do you guys do those? Because I do want to catch them. Ah! Damn it! It's a conspiracy! I probably shouldn't have used both at the same time. To be fair, that was kind of dumb on my part, actually. You like the new overlay? Font size is good. Okay, cool. I probably will have a few more changes to it in the near future. Okay, don't use it while at the same time having the star, so I can get maximum use out of both. Give me an 8. But I figured, okay, so, like, I had all those gimmicks down underneath, and I'm like, you know what? Let me set up a, what's it called? Let me set up an animated GIF. So that's all that is, just an animated GIF, and then I'm using the, I forget what it's called right now. It's like alpha in spaces or something like that. Because it's just white text on top of black. But then I'm using that option. It's I don't know, I remember if it's like a filter option or something. It's using a filter on there of some type, and it basically turns the black background transparent on there. So I'm like, cool. I can just like do this, and then if I need to, like later on, I don't know that I should be saying this right now, being that I'm literally running a test stream to make sure the damn thing even works worth a damn. But, later on, if maybe I need to put like a shout out or a sponsor banner, or, you know, whatever, you know, a guy can dream, right? I can just like include that into it and just have it. I mean, it's already a rotating banner of sorts, so. Oh, yeah. Oh, and it just came back up, too. Most times are one of those rare times in the game where you were actually too fast. Wahoo! Ah, you bastard! Let me get that mushroom. Come up off that mushroom. Every stream is pretty much. That's true as well. Like, that's what happens when you bump a guy that has a red shell. Ha! Eat that Goomba. Oh. This one doesn't let... Okay, so on this track, I can't go off the... I can't go off the track right there. I probably could here. Yeah, here we go. But yeah, you're right. Every stream technically is just a test for your next one. I mean, I'm sure there's probably somebody out there. I don't know why you would think this, but I don't figure most people are trying to do worse next time than, you know. I could be wrong on that. I could be. Waiting for everyone to suggest a course. Well, hurry up! Eh? Wah! Okay, let's go. Excited by. One of my old favorites. One of my old favorites from back in the day. I just barely made it over that banana peel. Ah. At least here, though, unlike Excite Bike, you don't have to worry necessarily about how you land. Like with Excite Bike, you got to make sure to try to either land on. You either got to land on both. You either got to land on both wheels, or you got to land on. You can land on one, but you got to maintain a balance. Still came in ninth, but you're kidding me. It dropped more frames. I mean, it's at like 0.3%, so it's not like, you know. Oh, I mean, again, we got to go wow, Luigi Pinball. Wow. Hey, how are you? Let me. Okay, here now it's coming up on my main screen. Is it Slamurai? Slamurai. I love that. That is awesome. Slamurai. How are you doing? It came up on my little phone gimmick on here. Then it came up on like my main chat on my main screen here on the gimmick right here. This thing. That. Yeah. How are you doing? Thank you for coming in. Thank you for coming in and watch me attempt to play game. I try to play game. Great, you full lobby. I'm playing with randoms. I could set up after this race. I could set up a tournament and just if you want to join in. Right after this race, I might do that. Just set up a tournament on here. I'll put the we'll have the code up on the gimmick here, and then you know, pretty much anybody can join. I'm not, you know. Honestly, it would be no different than what I'm doing now, just with people I don't know. I am not a master gamer. I am not a master debater. Make your own jokes there. Ah! Wah! What am I a master of? I am a master of disaster. Um, I am a master of nothing. Um, I I tell people, I always tell people this whenever I'm looking to do something, even in real life. I am an expert at absolutely nothing. I do a lot of stuff. Like I do a lot of different things. I'm a very versatile, well. Let me just mushroom right into the damn thing, and then be shocked and surprised at when I get the result I get. Um, I tell people, there are a lot of different things that I do, but I am a master of absolutely nothing. I'm an expert at absolutely nothing. But let's see. I'll leave this group and we'll go and set up a milk. Okay, let's see. Create a online tournament. You want to create a? Yeah, sure. And stuff. Choose an icon for your tournament. Uh, um, which is a Waluigi. Your tournament cannot contain more than 5 numbers. Okay. Um. Uh. Uh. Um. Uh. Er. Er. Old heads. Um. Old heads X. Yes. Okay. Old heads X. Set your tournament rules and choose when it will be active. Whatever. No teams. Frantic items. Let's go. Yeah, frantic items. Com. Easy com. All vehicles. Smart steering. Okay. Um. Daily. Start. Um. 1800 until. Okay, sure. That's not what I wanted. Why you do this? End date forever. I mean, I'm not gonna do this all day, so like, we'll go to the end. Okay, yeah, we'll go to the end of that month there at no limit of races. Don't show any rating. Open to everyone. Sure. Unable to register tournament times. Okay. God damn you. Why you do this? 1830, 1900. I'm going to slap the shiznit out of you. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, seeing as how the game is not bodied. I don't think. I'll race you, but don't get mad if I, dude, or person, or whoever you are. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just like I don't care. Like it's whatever. Fixed period daily. But you know what? Okay, let's see. 1800. Can you register? Okay, I don't care. Okay, so that's the code. 1890. Let me type that up on here. So 90, 17, 13, 36, 11. Cool, Doodad. I'm a she. Okay. Awesome. I use and by the way, I want to say this because I am an old head. I use terms like dude and bro and stuff like that. I literally use that gender neutral. Like, me and my friend Jimmy, we're both from the professional wrestling business. And like there have been several females. I don't know if you're like, I don't know if you know who Thunder Rosa is. I have referred to her as bro many times to her face. She is clearly not a dude. But yeah, I figure you're probably cool with it at this point. I'm just saying, like, I just want to make sure, and for anybody out there watching who, you know, if you're watching on a VOD later or whatever, you know, I use things as a, I use those terms gender neutral. So, anyway. Anyway. With all that said, anybody watching Jimmy, anybody else that I, you know, if I don't know who, what, where, why, how, and when you're watching, if you have game and you want to join in on this, feel free to do so because it's open. Ah! Well. Like, but yeah. Basically, I'm, wah! a large part of the entire idea of this particular stream here tonight, here this evening, is I've been having many stream breaking technical issues as of late, and I'm hoping for the most part to have them fixed. Like, I also in the future I'm looking to set up a Why aren't you using smaller roller wheels? By the way, Case Curious, thank you for stopping by. I don't know. I don't know. Just no, not that. Smaller roller wheels. Sydney Sprint. They got the best mini turbo stack. All right, we'll try it. Good to know that. I for the most part, tonight, I'm happy if the stream doesn't collapse, like the last like 3 have. If I'm able to make this entire stream with it in working condition, I'm happy. And by the way, also, if you have said game, if you have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and you want to join in, feel free to do so. The more the merrier, in fact. And yeah, thanks. Like I said, thanks for coming in, man. Thanks for anybody that's coming in, anybody that's taking time to watch this stream. Thank you. All the streams out there on Twitch, and you come by this one. So that's you're amazing just for that. That won't last long. It might. It probably won't. Yeah. They're going to be driving on that side of the road, bro. You know, I realized I didn't even put down on Discord that I have a Discord. I didn't even put down on Discord that I'm streaming here tonight. This was, I don't want to say it was spur of the moment, because that's not true. I just didn't know for a fact if I was going to even try this. But, you know, so far, so good. So far, I am glad that I tried this here again tonight. What is your OBS? Give me a second here. What is your OBS bitrate set to? I think right now I'm running at that missed that couldn't have possibly missed by more. I mean, I guess it could have possibly missed. Right now I'm at 4,200. I did the, so I ran the little gimmick on OBS where it basically goes over everything, and it's like, okay, cool, you can run at 6,000. I can run at 6,000, sure. I don't truly believe that it, okay. Oh, hold on. By the way, what's the lock at? 6,000 is a lie. Yeah. Give me just 1 second here. Oldhead X. Okay. So Oldhead's X is the name of the tournament, and there is the code. Lock it in at 4,000. Okay. He was dropping left or right before that. 4,000. Okay, give me a second here. Yeah, I started the stream at 45 and I dropped down to 42, and I didn't use the pre-race gimmick to boost right there. That's fine. I don't. This is not. This is fun. This is not competitive. So, I mean, you want to win, of course, but you know, who plays games and doesn't want to win? But there's nothing to win. You know, it's cool. We had a. Did you have a good time or didn't you? That's the prize. So, you literally couldn't use your internet for nothing else on any other. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I knew when I seen 6,000 on there, and I'm like, not on 6,000. I'm like, not on this internet, bro. Yeah, you have a hard. Yeah, you have a hard line connection. Exactly. I have a hard line connection up to the gateway, but then the gateway is running on 5G. So yo, I just threw a bomb into a bomb. How do you think that worked out for me? Wait. How was I in second place? The blue shell can hit you in second place now? I mean, that's faster than what was originally considered the old ISD. Yeah. Well, I mean, Los Angeles laps. We gotta go with Los Angeles laps, or I gotta go. You can go with whatever you want. Oh, at the first place is true. Good point. So you're the leader, leader of the pack. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, Case Cheerios. If you wanna join us on the next one, Jimmy, if you want to join us, I don't know if you're, you might be busy. I know you're a busy guy. Wow, they were like 50-50 odds, right? And Los Angeles laps, if I remember correctly, it's like Santa Monica, basically. It's not like, I don't think, like yeah, Santa Monica. We ain't rolling through Compton. We ain't going through my old Lucha Pro hoods. We ain't going through freaking we ain't going through Crenshaw here. Like we're just not. We ain't running through Florencia, you know? Crenshaw, right? Yeah. There is downtown LA also, so LA Live and all that area through here. This is supposed to be the stadium. Supposed to be Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium. Los Angeles Dodgers. Gonna hop on stream soon, but I can join you for okay. Cool. So if you're you're gonna jump on stream soon. Then I'll probably end up raiding out to you then. Like I said, I'm just happy right now that this is working. Well, I'm kind of surprised they even bothered to I'm kind of surprised they even bothered to acknowledge the oil field. Like, okay, that's just insulting. Nah, stay on, get your numbers up. Okay. Shout out to Little Tokyo, Jimmy Ray's home away from home and the Cardi compound. Yeah. Try to wait it out so people can. Oh yeah. I'm not going like right now. I'm just saying like. Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna be on for a little bit. We got a new follow, Hermidak. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Thank you for the follow. I don't know if the notification gimmick came on screen, and if so, I didn't hear it. I don't know if that's set up. You just noticed the hat, nice. Yeah, picked it up on Amazon. I picked up. This is actually my second one. One of them was just like. There was one that was just like it's a little floppy hat for cosplay, and I'm not saying this one's not for cosplay, but like this is an actual ball cap. I don't. Again, nobody's gonna confuse this for like something you would wear in Major League Baseball, but. Alright, lap 2. Why did it... Okay. That didn't help any. I'm like, why did it freaking... There we go. Yo, Slam's gone, yo. They're outie. At this point, I'm just trying to stay ahead of these stupid, I'm just trying to stay ahead of these computer players. Like, I'm not catching up with her. Let's see. Ah! Wah! Okay, let me see. I meant to do this previously, but... Oh, okay. Okay, no, alright. It is set to... Okay, so it is set to 4,000. Okay. Bangkok Rush. I have been to Bangkok. That was in 1997. So 97 or 96? Might have been 96. Yeah, 1996. So it's been a minute. The odds that I'm ever gonna go back. Let's just put it this way. If I ever hit the lotto, I'll go back to Bangkok. Okay, we back. All right. We so back. Bro, we so back. Why did it go forward? That was just a waste. Stand too close to me in an elevator. I'll go back to Bangkok. So yeah, 96. We were in Thailand. We were supposed to go. We were supposed to go to Australia, and China decided to be. China decided to be a little bastard bitch and start firing rockets at Taiwan again because reasons. Just to show they can and shit. So they sent Nimitz and I'm wanting to, was it the Washington? I want to say, bro. Yeah, Nimitz and Washington battle groups. They sent us to the South China Sea, and China backed off very quickly. Funny how that works. You get two carrier battle groups in your seas, and suddenly you ain't about that life no more. The problem is now we didn't get to go to Australia, and we had to spend a ridiculous amount of time at sea. We did have what we call a still beach picnic, which is basically just like one day where we just like party and bullshit on the flight deck. But then they're like, you know what? You guys have been out to sea for so long. We're gonna make an unscheduled port and hit Pattaya Beach. And hey, Pattaya Beach is cool as hell, especially when you're 18 years old. 18 years old, and I don't know. I don't know how much I can say on stream. Slam, all right, Slam. Have a good evening, and thank you for coming by. Thank you for coming by. That was it was fun. Slamurai 4. I don't know if anybody else wants to join. That is the guess we'll go back to regionals. Regional randoms. So I will join the next available match. But yeah, so we ended up going into Thailand. But I'm like, I'm 18 years old, but I'm smart enough to know that like this is a port city, Pattaya Beach. Pattaya, however the fuck you pronounce it. This is a port city, and it's fun. It's always fun to be in a port city, but like, I'm probably never gonna be here again, right? Or I don't know when the next time I'm gonna be here again. I'm like, if I'm gonna be in Thailand, I want to experience Thailand, and so yeah, took a bus and went out to Bangkok and was there for 5 nights. I want to say, was it 4? No, 4 nights, 5 days, something like that. And the one thing I will say is never try to cross the street on foot. Traffic patterns there are kind of like Mario Kart. They just go. Lanes, I don't know if it's still this way now, but I'm talking about, excuse me, pardon me, Kumi. 1996. There's no lanes. There's just a shit ton of cars just going, right? Tick-tock clock. Tick-tock clock. Go. Do it. Almost got the damn D'Lo Brown thing going on there. You're a real one if you know who D'Lo Brown is. You a realer one if you know D'Lo Brown. Look at the real deal now. All right. Course has been selected. All right. Gonna play old-fashioned SNES. For it to really be old-fashioned, though, they have to have the blocks, like, on the ground. If anybody's ever played the original, of course, I mean, now with, I was a little early on that. Yeah. I got to talking there and didn't pay attention to the, yeah, for it to be the truly old school Mario Kart track, these blocks should be on the ground. You should have to roll over them. I came in at 5. Mojo. I'm sorry. Emojos. Hey. I apologize. Emojos Swiwa. I'm sorry. Me dum dum. And I mean that, seriously, me dum-dum. I was gonna take a rainbow road. But hey, how are you doing? Welcome in. Thank you for stopping by stopping by this stream. Like I said, you could be on any stream, anywhere on Twitch with all the Twitch streamers out there. You came by this one. Thank you for doing so. How are you doing tonight? Or whatever time zone you may be in. We're gonna do the one with the buses, the boosters. Yeah, Toad's Turnpike. Yeah, that one. With the buses. Alright. Thank you. Boom! Somebody, I just wiped somebody out. Ah! Wah! Wah! Hey! Asshole! Damn it! Bad enough I had to put up with shit like that on the real freeway. Ah! Come on! The results are in. The race is over. I'm in dead-ass last place. I didn't really pay attention as I lean completely off frame here. I didn't really pay attention to what place I was in to begin with. I would like to think I was doing okay for a while. Maybe not. I didn't really look. Course has been selected. All right, cool. Let's do it. Let's go. Mount Wario. I'm a Wario. I'm gonna win. But I'm not a Wario. I'm a Waluigi. Wah! I slid all the way. God damn! I dropped from 4th to 11th like that. Yeah, I'm in dead ass last place now. Samuel. I am in dead ass last, bro. Let me see something here real quick. Everybody waiting on me and shit. So let me reset that. That way. We got You better recognize. Again, you're a real one if you get it. If you don't, I look stupider than usual. There's a goal. There's a goal. Try not to mix my voices there. Well, shit. Okay, dismiss him entirely. Okay. Damn it. Stretch this down. I thought this was got to go Waluigi Stadium. I would never. Oh, I literally just did, huh? Oh. Well. We just missed it. Just missed a while away. Ah! So late. Have to glance at the name there. Wah! What's crazy is I literally just pulled the trigger on this like right before that, but it didn't count or something. So. Oh shit! Since everybody behind me is gonna have a fucking bullet bill. Oh, considering where I was, I mean, I actually jumped up a couple spots right there at the end, so, I mean, again, I got to select, again, we have to select Waluigi Stadium. Wah! Everyone's choosing a safe bike. Wah! I like the safe bike. Okay, so just looking at my settings here while I'm waiting for game to game. Let's play Excite Bite. What? I must have barely, just hella barely missed it then. Ah, I got one more. Ah! Finish your third, though. Not bad, not bad. Was momentarily in second. I'm going to play a couple more here. New York Minute. Might play more than a couple more. We shall see. Again, I haven't really planned that far ahead. So. Nice. Seeing that Toad there on the side. Oh, Toad always seemed like he'd be like a jazzy dude. Maybe not. I don't know if anybody else sees that, but. Wow. Finish in third. Nice. Got that last second boost just to jump up. Oh, we ain't done yet. No. No, we got a couple more. And maybe a couple more after that. And maybe, just maybe, a couple more after that. Tokyo Blur. They couldn't use Tokyo Drift, right? They couldn't use Tokyo Drift. They call it Tokyo Blur. I see you working. I see you. I see you out there. I see you out there, Nintendo, as my grandma used to say. My grandma used to say Nintendo, and I'm like, there's an N that on you're not wrong, but you're leaving out a letter. She didn't know. I mean, she probably did, but maybe she did. Maybe she did. I don't know. Dragon Driftway is where we're going right now, though. As we head out onto the track. Okay. So not right before, but right at the... Okay. Ah, that's game right there. Well, we fell to 9th, but we didn't... Okay. We didn't finish deadass last. We had a couple people. Considering that I just wrecked. Not wrecked. Okay, well, without a Waluigi, we got to go with Rainbow Road. Without a Waluigi track. Bling. Let's go. Okay, let's go. Wahoo! All right, the other guy who selected Rainbow Road. There we go. Finished 8th. Okay, I was gonna say still. Well, I finished in 8th. The two that finished behind me finished well behind me. Cheeseland, Squeaky Clean, Sprint, Dragon Driftway. We'll try this one. I don't know if I've ever done this one. Also, yo, it's been 2 hours? Dang! Alright. Shoot, I gotta play Mario Kart more on stream. It doesn't feel like I just started stream, but it don't feel like I've been on there 2 hours yet either. Alright. Okay. The Electrodrome. I like this. If this is the one I think it is. I think, yeah. Bro, I was right at the gimmick. Well, that sucks. Like I said, given the fact that I haven't even played, I haven't played Nintendo Switch in a long time, much less Mario Kart. I hit something on the way there. Well, was going good, but it can turn around just like that. Calamari Desert, bro. Let's go. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Here we go. In we go. Wah! Yeah, got it. Calamari does it. Alright, cool. Let's rock. Let's rock. Yeah, shout outs to the new followers. Shout outs to those who have returned. Shout outs to the OGs, like Jimmy Ray. And shout outs to anybody watching this, however, whenever you're watching this. You're watching this on a VOD, shout out to you. You're watching this on YouTube. I don't know if I'm going to upload it to YouTube, but if I do, and you happen to be watching it on YouTube, shout out to you. And if you happen to see this on some other platform somehow that ended up on there because it did somehow, shout out to you too. Appreciate anybody who takes the time to come in and watch. Again, all the streams on Twitch, all the places. Not even just all the streams on Twitch. I mean, there's the streams on Twitch, of course. That's I guess I managed to hit the gimmick somehow. All right, I'm already down in 10th place. Damn, 11th place. Back up to 10. You could be on any stream in the world and you came by this one. So you are freaking awesome. You could be anywhere in the world. You don't even be watching stream. You could be like doing whatever, wherever, however, whatever, whyever, and you came by this stream. So you freaking awesome. Koopa Cave. Koopa Cape? Koopa Cape. I am going to, and yeah, especially, you ready for that race? You ready for that race soon? Give me just a second. Shout out to you. Yes, shout out to you. Oh yes, shout out to you. All right, I kind of locked myself into this one, and I mean, let me get this one, and then I will go back. I will exit out of this and go back to that tournament. Beep. Beep. All right. Ah. Nice. Didn't manage to get any blocks though. But I did manage to hit a random green shell. I've managed to dodge all these blocks. Mind you, I'm not trying to dodge blocks. I just, you know, I've managed to pull it off somehow. Haha. Still got the block. 11, so I need to blast off here. And that only got me up to 10. Quickly back to 9th. Don't figure I got a lot of time left here, so. Yep. 6th place, okay. Given where we started. All right, so here, give me a second as we back out of this. Eventually. No. No, I want to leave this group. Yes. You get into playing the freaking Here's the code, by the way, if anybody else wants to join in. 1-890-1713-3611. Let me type that in real quick so people can see if people can see that it's 1890-1713-3611. That is the code. You want to get in on this? By all means. We're just having fun here. Yes, I want to join. It's 1-890-1713-3611. 1-890-1713-3611. No CODs. No. Oh, anybody old enough to remember? They still do those. They probably don't. They used to do these commercials where they would advertise all this bullshit that you can buy online now. So that's why they don't do it. And you'd get like the little blue screen with the number in yellow as 1-800-446 whatever. Mean Gene still takes them? Yeah. 1-900-909-9900. Parents have your permission to call, but do call right now. 1-900-909-9900. One 1-890-1713-3611. You do not need your parents' permission to come in. Well, let me check that. Oh, yeah, actually, I'm right. I'm right. You don't. Because if you have to have your parents' permission, you don't belong on this fucking stream. So, there we go. Okay. Okay, I just want to make sure. I want to make sure. I'm like, I do have this set to be a 18 and up, right? Now, mind you, if you're 17, I'm not gonna tell on you, okay? I'm not gonna be like bad. If you're 16, I'm not gonna. How the fuck am I gonna know, right? I'm not gonna know. It's either Rainbow Road or some other gimmick entirely. Rainbow Road. Alright, about to get my ass kicked by Jimmy Ray. Let's go. Why are you sliding that way? There you go. There you go. Oh, well, okay, I actually did mean to hit that ramp there, and then it just, decided, yeah, you're gonna go around this way. You're gonna go around this way, even though you went straight up the goddamn middle. We do have CPU players. They are set to easy. That's just to simulate having more people in on this. Okay, again, you're just gonna force me to the side there. All right, game. All right, game. You're just gonna force me to go sideways, even though I'm like, yeah, there's a bomb. There's nothing you can do. Yo, these CPU guys are supposed to be set to freaking easy. Why are they competitive at all? Alright, well, hey. I don't even say that. You don't even say that word. What word did I say that? What was the, well, you may not want to say it now. I guess I don't. Oh, 16. Yeah. No. I mean, you're not supposed to be here. Is what I'm trying to say. So I've made it known that. Do you want to go one more, or you got a bell? But while all I'm saying is we're making it known that this is intended to be 21 up, guys. I'm 46, okay? When I say I'm an old head, I'm a goddamn old head, all right? I'm pushing 50. You down? You're not? Oh, okay. Well, hell, let's just okay. Well, if you're not gonna go on stream, fuck it. Let's rock. But no, all I'm saying is, okay. The thing keeps saying chat paused due to scroll. I'm like, I've scrolled to the bottom. I should just select that actually next time. Just select the question mark. That's unless it is a track I really like. But I again, I'll put the code out here again in a minute after this stream, or after this stream. For fuck's sake. After this race, I'll put the code out there again. But yeah, anybody else watching, anybody else that wants to get in on this, there's no prize. It's just we're just having fun here. Like I said, this is a test-ish stream, and for the most part, I want to say successful test. I have had a few drop frames. That's kind of subprime, you know, but at the same time, it hasn't been a total collapse, which is what I was dealing with the last couple weeks, where it's just like the shit was just unwatchable, unviewable. I'm like, that was the shit that was pissing me off. My coin's back though. God damn, seriously? Okay, that can't do nothing against the squid. All right. For the first time in this entire damn stream, I mean, it's 1 or 2, so it's not like, you know. I mean, technically, we could be beaten by a CPU player, but if we're beaten by a CPU player set to easy, bro. Oh, somebody else coming in. Somebody else on. Welcome, person. The more the merrier, by the way. There is a code once again here. But yeah, we got three players in. That's cool. Like I said, the more the merrier. We want as many as are willing to join in. And if I know you, great. Chuck. All right, welcome in, Chuck. If I know you, great. And if I don't, honestly, even better, because we like meeting new friends here. It's kind of our thing, you know. Yeah. Alright, Chuck out there in first place. Your boy here in second. Pretty sure Jimmy Ray's in third. Not trailing too far behind. And then computer drones doing computer drone things. Wow! Your boy jumping back out into first. Once again. All right. Wow! Wow! Got railroaded. Back to third, all right. Yeesh. All right, well, I was in third for a while, finished third of three. It's what it is. At least I finished ahead of fucking Larry. 1890 1713 3611. That is 1890 173 3611. That is your code if you want to get in on the gimmick here. And if you don't, and you would rather just sit back and watch and chill, lay back in the cut and chill, that's fine too. Hello, how are you? Glad you've joined us. All right, we're on that track. I'll pretend to know what that Daisy Circuit. Okay, I'll even pretend to know what that track is. But I honestly had no freaking. I had no freaking clue. Oops. Well. What the hell? How the hell did I get... Okay. I'm pretty much out of it. At some point, I got reversed somehow. And, yeah, throw all these fireballs. The hell with all these damn, computer gimmicks. I got freaking reversed. I don't know how the hell that happened. But... Alright, back up to third. At the very least, I'm back up with the live people. I got reversed again. Something about that turn. It looks like it's like you should go this way. You shouldn't. I'm gonna finish at fourth. I got a damn computer player. I got a damn computer player finishing it. Fucking Larry. Got beat by Larry and Chuck. And Jimmy Ray. At least Chuck's a real person, though. $18.90, 1713, 3611. You want to get in on this? Get in on it. Nothing competitive about it, but if you you know, you wanna brag that you're leading this fucking A, bro. Like we're just here having fun, but and as I mentioned earlier on, whenever I say bro, I say bro, I say dude, This is gender. I use these terms totally gender neutral. Like, I never want anybody to ever. I missed that. But anyway, I never want anybody to feel excluded or anything like that here, because anybody that's willing to come by my stream, you willing to come by this damn stream, you are more than welcome in these spaces. Again, you could be anywhere in the damn world doing anything. Not even on Twitch. Just doing anything. And you've come by this stream. You are goddamn... You're not just a real one, you are the real one. You know what I'm saying? You and you and anybody else. Anybody else who takes the time to come by here. With everything you could possibly be doing right now. You're coming and hanging out with me. You are freaking amazing. What in the hell? Dude, I glitched completely off the track. And I don't mean like wiped out. I mean like completely out of the gimmick entirely. Ooda boons. Ooda boons. You gotta be a bad motherfucker to glitch out of bounds. And I mean bad in the classic way, not in the bad means good. I mean bad means fucking bad. You gotta be a bad motherfucker to totally glitch out of bounds. Ah! Why did it stop? Damn it. Damn it. Oh! One final insult there on the way down. Damn that Chuck. 1890 1713 3611. That is 1-890-1713-3611. If you have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you want to get in, and we got a fourth player. Welcome aboard, person. I will find out your name here in a second, but welcome aboard. Thank you for coming in. Like I said, anybody that's going to take time to join this stream, anybody, you could be doing anything in the damn world, anything at all. And then you come onto Twitch, and you got all these streams, and all these places you could go. And you come here. You are freaking awesome. We got Tad from Japan. Hey, okay. Awesome. Person coming in from Japan. Konnichiwa. You may not be you may have just come in as a random and may not even be on the stream. That is okay. We welcome that too. The fact is, you are a participant on this stream, and even if you aren't aware that you're participating on this stream, you are participating on this stream, and that makes you amazing. And if you are participating on this stream, even better. If you really are coming in from Japan and coming to this stream, that is even better. So Tad or TAD, I'm not sure if it's Tad. I'm gonna say Tad. Welcome aboard. Konnichiwa gozaimasu. To say that my Japanese is limited, you can't possibly have a larger understatement. Somehow that wiped me out too. All right. Wow. Alright, finished in third. Let's get the, well. Jimmy Ray and Chuck. Yeesh. Sorry about that, Tad. That's alright. Okay, I'm gonna have to turn my phone off because I just realized it's down to 13%. So... Took Chuck's dinner out of his mouth. Oh, wait. Why do y'all? Why do y'all? Coming up on 2 hours and 45 minutes on this stream. So, probably go another 15, maybe 30. I don't have a set time of when to leave. Just like, I mean, we having fun here, right? So that's the key thing. Ah, Tad left us. Okay. All right. Well, Chuck, thanks for continuing to hang out, continuing to play with us, continuing to game with us. Viewers, anywhere in the world. Thank you for watching anywhere in the world, anytime. That, you know, again, even if you're not watching this live and you're watching this on a VOD, of course, I totally appreciate my live viewers, but I appreciate all viewers. I am not a major streamer, so the fact that anybody, not that I don't want to be, I'm just, we all want to be, but well, some people may not want to be. Some people may just wanna come over here, play games, and fuck it, we might as well stream while doing it, and that's fine too. You know, do I see myself ever being, what the frig am I doing? Do I see myself ever making a living? Let me try that again. Do I ever see myself making a living off of doing this? Hell no. Would I complain if that ended up happening? Hell no. Oh, into the lava! Into the lava! The floor is lava. And I just lost the game. For more mid-2000s 4chan references, into the lava again! Once again! The floor is lava. Once again, I have lost the game. Does anybody still go to 4chan? Last thing I heard of 4chan was they managed to actually convince people that the OK sign is a white power symbol, and I'm just like, the fucking 4chan meme. People bought that? Fuck, people can be stupid sometimes. But yeah, I think people actually bought that. Tis what tis, yo. Alright, we'll play a couple more here. And then we'll probably call it a night. Probably try this again on Thursday. I might not even bother to call it a test stream because if it's, you know, actually going to work. That's all I ask, right? Right? Nobody's gonna confuse this stream for like Ninja or I don't know who's the big streamers now. Like nobody's gonna confuse nobody's gonna confuse this for Amaranth stream. That's for goddamn sure. But like, stable stream coming up here, having a good time, and if people want to watch and hang out, fucking A. Wah! Damn it, Chuck. Damn it! Chuck jumped right in front of me like that. Fuck off, Mega Man. Oh, it's Jimmy Ray. Okay. It did not identify as Jimmy Ray. It didn't identify right away as Jimmy Ray. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, fuck off, Mega Man. Oh, nicely timed! Nicely timed! Nicely timed! I don't know if that was Jimmy or if that was somebody else, but somebody hit Chuck with the blue shell right at the goddamn end. Ha! Ha! That was Jimmy? Good shit, Jimmy. Good shit, Jimmy. And sorry I told you to fuck off. Again, it didn't identify... It didn't identify it as you. You threw two reds. Whoa, oh, you hit me with a... Well, that's okay. Nicely timed. Sunblade, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, Sunblade. Your timing, Jimmy, was impeccable on that. Nothing, you know, Chuck. If you know, don't trip, right? Like, we're still glad he joined us. He tried to hit me with a green shell. Oh, fuck. Ah! Sunblade says from Brazil. Nice. Make this a nice international affair. Everyone from everywhere is welcome. Everyone from everywhere, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between is welcome. Not gonna lie, guys, this one's probably gonna be my last race here. Jump back up to third. All right. Got ahead of Sunblade. All right. Yeah. Like I said, that's probably going to be it for me here tonight. Going at just under 3 hours. Jimmy Ray, you know, like again, one of my IRL friends. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for all the help, by the way. Jimmy Ray has been invaluable in helping to actually build this stream out, and probably one of the few reasons I'm even still continuing to try this. I'm not. I don't like. Okay. I guess you would have to go to Jimmy's channel, The Jimmy Ray Show. Be sure to follow, by the way, if you do so. Be sure to follow, subscribe if you like. And from there you can check out, you should have a link to the Discord. Check my bitrate real fast. Bitrate. So the bitrate's kind of bouncy between 39, between 39 and 41. It's kind of does bounce up and down a bit. So let me see if in the settings. So right. In the settings, I am at 4,000. File settings output. Yeah, I'm at 4,000. So, Jimmy, if you have the link to your Discord, if you want to share that, quite frankly, Jimmy, you're good to share whatever the, you got the VIP, you got the VIP status. You are the VIP on this channel. Quite frankly, you can share whatever the fuck you want to. I might even throw you, a mod on there. I don't know. I don't really have mods. So I think Peter. Uh, excuse me. Gamer Dude 3106 I think does have mod powers, but he's like never here. Um, he's just again Black Leather Crew OG, Black Leather Crew Productions OG I should state. Different. There is a difference. Um, um, yeah. So like I said, if you want to post the link to your Discord or whatever, yeah, fuck you, Peter. Yeah, fuck you, Peter. No, fuck you, Peter. You get you. Jimmy gets it. Jimmy knows him from back in the day, from Pro Wrestling Unplugged and Vendetta Pro and all the other bullshit that we've done in professional wrestling. But yeah, let me. So Jimmy, you're not going on stream. I just want to verify that because I am going to look for a raid target, and obviously I'm gonna hit up. I'm gonna try to hit up Raytopia first if anybody's on. I'm not gonna bullshit you and tell you that I know everybody from Raytopia, but I will try to help out. Go ahead and raid out. All right. Let's see. It's Mr. Stats. I don't know. Tyler Guapo. Clean Tofu. I mean, I got a few regulars that, but I think I might hit up. It's Mr. Stats. So somebody we met at TwitchCon. Wish I had the money to hit TwitchCon this year. I don't see it being a reality, unfortunately. It's just one of them things. I won't say I'm never going to TwitchCon again. I don't see it being a reality that I'm gonna be able to hit it this year. Why is it? Let's see. So, okay, yeah, it's Mr. Stats. We're gonna try to hook them up with a raid here. But once again, one final time. However, whenever, wherever, however you're watching this from, thank you for doing so. It does say a thing. Mr. Stats is intended for certain audiences. If you're coming from my stream, if you're coming from this stream, you should be okay because we're for a certain audience too. We're not to steal a line from my friends at Hood Slam. No fucking kids, okay? That's just and I am a foul mouthed son of a bitch because it's called Cuss Like a Sailor for a reason. I was a sailor. So yeah. Dang, sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's just again, it's one of them things. I mean, unfortunately, I'm still paying out some shit from last year, so I don't know if I'm shit on my stream. I don't know if I'm even viewable at the moment. This I might have to put Thursday's stream as a test stream again because it might be fucking up again. Of course, if it's gonna fuck up, it may as well be at when we're at the end of the stream anyway, right? All right, so yeah. However, whenever and wherever you are watching from, thank you for doing so. Appreciate it so much. You could be anywhere in the damn world, and you decided to come and hang out with us. So you are freaking awesome. We are going to raid out right now to It's Mr. Stats. I am Joseph D32, and we are out this bitch. We are unable to raid Mr. Stats at this time. You fucking bastard. I already dropped my damn line. I already said we are out this bitch, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna try one more time. You done fucked up the gimmick. Twitch done fucked up the gimmick. But it is what it is. We're gonna try this one more time, and if it goes, then we're gonna raid Mr. Stats. If it doesn't, we are unable to raid Mr. Stats. You know what? Fuck it. I tried. You know, my own fault for trying. Right? Right? The moral of the story: don't try. Sorry, Mr. Stats. It's Mr. Stats is on if you want to go check him out. If you're watching this live and you want to go check him out. I tried to raid you and it said no. So, you know, that's where we are. That's where we are. That's what we're doing. Jimmy, I don't know if you're still I don't know if you're still live. I don't know if you're still with us right now or not. I don't know. I'm looking at my own stream replay, and this shit is choppy as fuck. So, I hope it wasn't like that the entire stream. I'm sure you'd have said something if it was. But, alright, well, fuck it. I guess we're just gonna end stream then. Thank you for coming by tonight. However, whenever, wherever, like if you're watching on VOD, if you're watching live, if you're watching whatever, thank you for, especially if you're still hanging out, because damn. My name is Joseph, and like I said, we are out this bitch.